This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stiefel Financial.
Good evening, Nevada County. I'm Keith Overby, your host for tonight's edition of Nevada County Now. Mother Teresa was quoted as saying, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." One person can cause chaos or great change to our community. Our job should be to care for and educate our young people to do the latter. And some adults could use the benefit from this too. Now don't go away. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Thank you to Stiefel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stiefel.com.
Welcome back. Budget constraints, the uptick in crime, or just simply not being in the right place at the right time are some of the issues law enforcement are faced with for keeping our communities safe. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office has a program where residents and business owners can register the locations of their video surveillance systems. The Citizens Camera Registry allows the Sheriff's Office to identify nearby camera locations so that when a crime occurs, they can enlist the assistance of community members for help in collecting video evidence. This program does not give the NCSO direct access to your personal surveillance. It's important to remember. It only alerts us that you have video surveillance and lets us know we can dependably ask you for your assistance in checking for video if a crime occurred in your vicinity. And to learn more about fighting the fight against crime, visit their website at nevadacounty.ca/3268/Citizen Camera Registry. And further speaking of crime and the Sheriff's Department, 2 wanted fugitives were arrested early Thursday morning after a Nevada County Sheriff's Patrol Sergeant conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle with expired registration and false tags on Rough and Ready Highway near Harvest Lane at approximately 1:15 a.m. The male driver, identified as 40-year-old Michael Joseph Gunter of Portland, Oregon, and a female passenger, identified as Laura Ashley Adams, age 35, of Auburn, were discovered to be wanted in the state of Nevada on felony warrants. Upon their arrest, a search of the vehicle revealed numerous items of suspected stolen property, including mail and identification documents belonging to at least 15 other people, burglary tools, including shaved keys, and approximately 20 grams of methamphetamine. The investigation into the stolen property and mail theft remains active and ongoing, with identification and contact of the victims underway. Gunther and Adams were booked into the Wayne Brown Correctional Center on charges of possession of stolen property, possession of burglary tools, identity theft, transportation and sale of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and their warrants that were from the state of Nevada. Now don't go away. There's plenty more on tonight's show.
From the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, a new hero will emerge. One who is ready. One who makes sure their friends and family are set. And has the power to go at a moment's notice. This fire season, you're the hero. We are Ready Nevada County.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Erin Tarr, Executive Director of the Bear Yuba Land Trust. We're a local nonprofit that's been around for 33 years. We've protected over 25,000 acres of land, built over 50 miles of trail, and are always looking for new ways to connect the community with nature.
I'm Sean Clark, and I work on our lands and trails at Bear Yuba Land Trust. We'd love to have you become part of the Land Trust family. You can head on over to bylt.org to become a member, make a donation, sign up for a volunteer work party, and come help us steward the land.
Welcome back. Nevada County residents have an opportunity to help shape the community's wildfire preparedness. The Draft Community Wildfire Protection Plan, known as CWPP, is now available for public review and feedback through January 13th, 2025. The CWPP outlines strategies for wildfire resilience, including prioritizing hazardous fuels reduction and improving community preparedness. Greg Griesbach, the Director of Emergency Services, emphasized the plan's importance by saying, "This draft represents a critical step in reducing wildfire risks and increasing resilience. Public input will ensure it reflects our community's unique needs." And since 2023, Nevada County's Office of Emergency Services has collaborated with local experts, nonprofits, and over 2,200 community members through surveys, workshops, and events to draft the CWPP. Nevada County residents can review the plan online at readynevadacounty.org/CWPP or in person at the OES office in the Nevada County Government Center, commonly known as the Rood Center, at 950 Maidu Avenue in Nevada City. The CWPP is part of a larger roadmap to resilience, which also includes the Local Hazard Mitigation Plan, a land management plan, and an evacuation study to address Nevada County's wildfire and all hazard risks. And for more information, visit readynevadacounty.org. All right, the Nevada County Irrigation District, otherwise known as NID, is making significant upgrades to the Maben Canal near Limekiln on the southern border of Nevada County. The Phase 4 improvement project aims to address maintenance challenges and increase water flow capacity for downstream demands. Key upgrades include encasing 600 feet of open canal into an 18-inch buried pipe and replacing a 470-foot siphon with a 24-inch PVC pipe. Additional enhancements include a control valve and a flow measuring flume to better manage and monitor water flow. These improvements will ensure uninterrupted service, lifting a current moratorium to allow new customers access to water. Now, for more details and a photo gallery of the project, you can visit nidwater.com. And as we were earlier talking about wildfires, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara has unveiled new regulations aimed at expanding homeowners' access to insurance in wildfire-prone areas. The rules took effect on January 2nd and introduce a shift in how insurance companies assess risks and provide coverage for properties at risk of wildfires. Now, under the new regulations, insurers will be permitted to use advanced computer modeling, incorporating meteorological and geographical data to write policies. And this replaces the traditional approach of relying solely on historical loss data. In exchange, insurance companies will be required to offer coverage to most homes in fire risk zip codes, ensuring greater access for homeowners in wildfire-prone areas. California faces a growing wildfire crisis, and with thousands of fires each year and that devastate homes and properties, in 2022 alone, the state recorded 7,477 wildfires, which burned over 307,000 acres. And as a result, many residents, particularly in rural or mountainous regions, such as Nevada County, have struggled to find affordable home insurance, often relying on the state-run FAIR plan, which offers limited coverage options. Laura emphasizes the importance of adapting to the changing climate by adding, with our changing climate, we can no longer look to the past. We are being innovative and fast-forward looking to protect California's access to insurance. He added that the new rules will allow insurance companies to expand coverage to areas in most need of protection. The new regulations require insurance companies to provide coverage for at least 85% of homes in fire risk zip codes. And this marks the first time that California has mandated insurers to cover homes in these fire risk areas, with enforcement expected to be rigorous. While the regulations have been praised by state officials for improving accessibility, some critics have raised concerns. Carmen Balber, Executive Director of Consumer Watchdog, warned that the new rules could lead to higher rates for homeowners. This rule could let insurance companies raise rates based on secret algorithms, but not expand coverage as promised. As California moves toward implementing these changes, officials are hoping regulations will provide more options and stability for homeowners in wildfire-prone areas, helping to address the state's ongoing insurance crisis. We'll continue to monitor this story and give you updates as we go along. Now, don't go away. We've got a very special guest, Phoebe Cates from the Nevada County Department of Behavioral Health. Will be joining us to share a very important topic. Welcome back, everybody. Nevada County began the implementation of Care Court, a state-mandated bill designed to help those with severe mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia, who are not clinically stable or engaged in ongoing voluntary treatment. And here to tell us about this program is Nevada County Behavioral Health Director, not Phoebe Cates, Phebe Bell. So Phebe, welcome here. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I guess first of all, for my edification also, there's the Department of Behavioral Health, there's the Department of Mental Health, there's the Department of Public Health. I don't know how many more departments of something health there are, but exactly what does behavioral health do?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's a term that sort of came into vogue maybe 8 or 10 years ago when we basically combined mental health services and substance use disorder treatment services. Mm-hmm. And so at the Department of Behavioral Health, our charge is to provide safety net services, so services for folks on Medi-Cal or people who don't have insurance, low-income folks, provide them mental health services like psychiatry and therapy and case management, but also substance use treatment services, so residential treatment or outpatient counseling or whatever they might need. And so at the Behavioral Health Department, we run the public system with those kinds of services.
Now, perhaps then I was mistaken. Is there a Nevada County Department of Mental Health?
There's not anymore.
Okay.
Once upon a time there was.
The name has changed.
Exactly.
Okay.
So behavioral health encompasses both mental health and substance use.
Okay. Well, what can you tell us? We mentioned the CARE program. And what exactly does this do? Or care court, I should say. That's the proper term.
Well, you're right, actually. The governor really pushed calling it the CARE Act because the court word sort of gave it a negative connotation to a lot of people. And I think the intention of the program is really, we know there's a crisis of homelessness in our state. We know that we all see people struggling who are unsheltered and who clearly have some kind of significant mental health or substance use need going on. And so the idea of the CARE Act originally was, how do we engage those folks and both help encourage them into treatment, but also help encourage behavioral health departments to provide needed treatment and to go out and find those folks and engage them and bring them into care and support, including housing them when we can. That's the goal of the program, and I think that's a really noble and great goal. In reality, there's a couple challenges around it. One is the actual parameters to getting into the program are much more narrow than how that sounds. You have to have a pretty specific serious mental illness, schizophrenia, or a schizophrenia-like diagnosis. And so lots of people have pretty big mental health challenges, but they don't have that particular diagnosis. And so that narrows the pool right there. And then I'd say a second challenge is, I think it was really kind of put forward as a solution to homelessness. If we could just get these folks into treatment, we'd solve the housing problem. But the reality is homelessness is very related to the actual housing problem, which is there's not enough housing. And so it's not really a solution for homelessness per se. But having said that, there is a subgroup of people for whom this might be a really effective strategy for engaging them in care and treatment. There are people out there, housed or unhoused, who really are in denial about their mental illness. And that's one of the features of schizophrenia is really, it's called anosognosia. It's lack of insight into your own symptoms. And so this would offer a way for like a family member or a loved one to say, I'm really worried about Phebe. You can call us up and say, I want to file a petition and see if this could be a way to get services to Phebe. And if they go so far as to file a petition, it would compel us to go out and find their person and help support them and get them into care.
And that petition is approved by a court judge here from the Superior Court?
Yeah, it's a legal process. It's a civil court process, and that's really important to stress because, again, court sounds negative. I think we often think of criminal charges and the penalty of jail.
Sure.
Care court doesn't have any of that. It's a civil process, and so if the person doesn't engage or it's not effective, there's no penalties in that way. But we run a similar process called Laura's Law, or also called assisted outpatient treatment, and that law was started as a result of the tragedy that happened here in Nevada County, and it's a similar civil court process for people who are very ill and at risk to themselves or others, and we found it for the right people to be really effective. We can go out, we'll send somebody out to talk to that person, do an assessment, and encourage them to come into court, and there's something about that, the formality of a courtroom setting and the power of a judge saying, hey, I'm really worried about you. I think you need some treatment. And then empowering that person by saying, hey, behavioral health department, this person needs case management to get whatever. Your job is to do that. And then your job is to come to treatment or whatever. And there's a dynamic that works pretty effectively there for some folks.
Now, who represents the county when you do this? I mean, is county council goes to the court with this petition? Who do the people give this petition to? Straight to the court or through county council or how?
Yeah, it's a great question. If somebody wanted to file a care court petition, they would file it directly with the court. And there's a self-help center at the courthouse to help people fill out the paperwork. There's two main forms. One's a somewhat lengthy form kind of describing who you're filing about and why. And then the other is a form that you need a mental health professional to sign off on saying they have diagnosed this person or they believe they meet the criteria for this diagnosis. You file those two forms with the court, and then the court sends it to us, behavioral health, and then it's our job to go to the next place with it, which is go find that person, start to do an assessment, and start to say, hey, we've got a court date in 2 weeks. Come with me to that court date, and let's meet the judge and see what this is all about.
So you go representing the county, not an attorney, not one of the attorneys.
When it comes to the court hearing, county council would come with us also.
Okay.
Yeah, so they help represent the county.
This petition, you said that people go and can get at the Reed Center. You
At
said
the courthouse.
At the courthouse,
Yeah.
not the Reed Center, the courthouse. That's very important, so people don't go wandering around like I would.
Or you can go to our website,
okay.
Behavioral Health at.
But then they have to have the signature of the certified health provider, the doctor, the psychologist, the psychiatrist, I assume.
Yep, exactly.
Or, therapist or whoever.
Yep.
To before they can go forward with it. I can't just go and get one and say, hey, I want to lock up my sister or
Right.
something. You know.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to that end, the person who's being petitioned about has a lot of rights in the process as well. So first off, that somebody with a license has to sign off saying yes, this person meets the criteria. But also, they get legal representation. So the public defender's office is assigned to represent the person being petitioned about in the process. So
that's my next question.
Yeah.
Who represents them?
Yeah.
I found out who represents you. Who's on the other side? You mentioned that you're involved in housing a lot. So now, are you involved with Hospitality House, for example, and what they call it, a triage center or a transition center that's up on Old Tunnel Road? You folks are the overseers of that?
So a couple different things there. So with Hospitality House, we partner with them on a lot of projects. We contract with them for some services. On the residential building up on Old Tunnel Road, Brunswick Commons, Hospitality House runs a number of the units, like in terms of they place people in a number of the units, and then some of the units are set aside for people who are behavioral health clients, and so we partner in that way there. Then just down the hill from that site is the Commons Resource Center, which it's in a remodel process right now, but it will be a day resource center. So people, particularly those experiencing homelessness, can spend the daytime there. There'll be showers and laundry and a place to charge your phone, as well as a bunch of services available. And so the idea is, instead of people having nowhere to go during the day, that there's a place where they can go and get support and help, as well as kind of meet some basic needs.
Okay. Now, I also saw, I think I read it in the newspaper, that the county is attempting to build a 16-bed facility. And what is that for, and what are you doing to attempt to build that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thanks. So last March, you might recall, in California, we passed what was called Proposition 1, and it was a pretty large proposition. It included sort of repurposing some existing funding that exists, called the Millionaire's Tax, Mental Health Services Act money.
Excuse me.
But it also included 2 bond issuances, and a big portion of those bond issuances were to support investments in the behavioral health treatment infrastructure in our state. This is a little bit far back from where you started, but
that's all right.
Long ago, under Governor Reagan at the time, we in California shut down a lot of the big institutions that had existed.
The old state hospitals.
Exactly. And really, for good reason in lots of cases. People were there for their whole lives. There wasn't a lot of belief in people's ability to recover or do better. And so the idea was to close those down, but simultaneously the idea was to build community treatment centers. And so the first part happened. We closed down a lot of those institutions, but the second part never fully happened. We didn't invest in those community institutions. And so that's part of the challenge we've had in the public behavioral health system, is not enough treatment facilities. And so this bond measure was really geared towards solving that problem. How do we buy more treatment beds throughout the state so that people who need a higher level of care are able to get it? So for Nevada County, we're one of a number of counties in the northern third of the state and most of the rural counties where we have no inpatient treatment beds in our county. And so if somebody in our county comes in a crisis, someone you love may have gone through this, they're having a mental health crisis, they come into the hospital, we assess them and we say, yeah, you're not safe right now. We want to put you in inpatient care for a few days till you can stabilize. When we do that in Nevada County, we then have to start calling hospitals all over the state to see who will take our person. And we have contracts with lots of hospitals, and so we'll send people to Red Bluff or to Napa or to Sacramento, all over the state. And that's not ideal for the person. It's pretty stressful to go to someplace you've never been. And it's also not ideal for their care. Ideally, you want your inpatient care to be connected to your community care so that you stay on the same medications. There's communication about what's needed or what's different. And so the idea here for us was, here's this big investment of dollars, here's this big gap in our system, let's write a proposal to build that kind of facility here in Nevada County.
Like, let me ask you this. Is there a place where this is going to be built? Already chosen? Where would it be built at?
Yeah, we're going to build it on the Rood Center campus. So this was a really big priority for our Board of Supervisors and our County Executive's Office. They really recognized both the opportunity of this investment as well as the need in our system. And as you can imagine, deciding what facilities happen on that campus is a big deal. And so allowing this project to move forward really reflects their high prioritization of meeting the mental health needs of our community.
I'm so sorry.
You're totally okay.
Excuse me, everybody. Well, I was wondering because, it seems like we have Hospitality House, we have the Transition Center, the everything.
Yeah, and I think just to clarify, this is a little bit different from a lot of those facilities, which are really housing facilities.
I'm sorry, everybody.
No
Get a
worries.
drink of water.
Yeah, please. This is a treatment facility, so somebody wouldn't live here for years. They would typically come for a short stay, or there's a second part of the facility that would be a little bit longer stay. But nonetheless, eventually you would leave this facility and go to housing. So, for example, Brunswick Commons that we were talking about earlier might be a permanent home for somebody once they left a facility like this.
I was wondering if it seems like that. I'm a resident of Grass Valley, and it seems like Grass Valley has Hospitality House. We have the apartments on Old Tunnel. We have now this new one you're talking about. It seems like Nevada County, Grass Valley is shouldering their share of the population. And of course, if there is law enforcement need that impacts on the police department and it impacts on our fire department. I mean, has there been any thought to spreading it out a little bit more around the county? And the Rood Center apparently is a step in that direction.
Yeah, I'd say some of the big projects of the last few years, like Cashton's Field is in the Nevada City area. We're about to open another facility called the Ranch House. That's up on Highway 49, so also in Nevada City jurisdiction. We really try to have a variety of types and locations of housing and treatment resources all around the county. We have a number of facilities in unincorporated parts of the county as well. And so to your point, this is a community-wide need. Lots of people from all over the county need treatment, need housing support sometimes. And so making sure that we're, offering a variety of options for people in a variety of locales, I think is really important. But also, if we're housing somebody that doesn't have transportation, having access to public transportation or walkable services is an important part and an important part of competitive application. So we're always kind of juggling all those needs while looking at the whole picture.
Good. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, we have a great community of partnerships that really give us a more robust behavioral health system than the average small rural county. And we have so many great providers, nonprofits that we work with in this county, and I think I hear from others around the state regularly like, wow, Nevada County has a lot going on, and I think we should be really proud of that. We do a really good job here in Nevada County of trying to support our own folks, and you never know who's going to have a mental health crisis, and we want to be able to make sure they get their needs met when that moment happens.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate it. It's been very interesting. Okay, folks, that's towards the end of our program. Thank you for watching this edition of Nevada County Now. And if you'd like to help contribute or write stories, appear on a show, or even become a host, if I can do it, any of you can, please check out the details on our website at nevadacountymedia.org/NCN. This program is local news and brought to you by local residents. Remember to stay safe and take care of yourself and others, and get out there and enjoy all that this community has to offer. Good night now.